Discipline, hard work. The Denzel Washington mindset. Success is not magic, it's not luck, it's not something you stumble upon by accident. Success is built, it is earned, it is forged in the fire of discipline and hard work. Too many people want success, but they don't want to do the work. They want the reward, but they don't want to sacrifice. They want to reach the top, but they're afraid of the climb. And I tell them every time, you cannot cheat the grind. You cannot skip the work. You cannot shortcut your way to greatness. Discipline is doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's putting in the hours when no one is watching. It's staying focused when distractions are everywhere. Hard work and discipline go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You can't work hard for a week and expect to see results. You can't be disciplined for a month and expect to change your life. It takes consistency. It takes persistence. It takes showing up every single day, giving your best even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't see immediate results, even when everything in you wants to quit. I remember when I first started out in my career, I wasn't handed success. I wasn't given a golden ticket. I had to work for it. I had to fight for it. I had to earn every opportunity. There were moments of doubt. There were moments of rejection. There were moments when I questioned whether I was on the right path. But the one thing I never did was quit. I never stopped pushing. I never let rejection define me. I never let failure stop me, because I knew that discipline and hard work would pay off. I knew that if I stayed consistent, if I stayed committed, if I refused to settle for mediocrity, I would eventually break through. Too many people give up too soon. They hit a roadblock and they quit. They don't see results fast enough and they stop trying. But discipline means pushing forward, even when the results aren't immediate. It means understanding that greatness is built brick by brick, day by day, moment by moment. It's about planting the seeds now, watering them every day, and trusting that one day they will grow into something extraordinary. Hard work isn't glamorous. It isn't easy. It isn't always fun. It's sweating when no one is cheering for you. It's failing and getting back up. It's doing the small things that no one else wants to do. It's sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term success. But here's the truth: if you don't put in the work, someone else will. If you don't stay disciplined, someone else will. If you don't push yourself beyond your limits, someone else will. And one day you'll look back and wonder what could have been if only you had given it everything you had. You have to decide what you want more: comfort or success, because you can't have both. Success requires discomfort. It requires doing the things that are hard. It requires pushing past the limits you set for yourself. And that's why discipline is so important. Motivation will fade, inspiration will come and go. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward when the excitement wears off. Discipline is what makes you get up and go to the gym when you'd rather stay in bed. Discipline is what makes you study when you'd rather watch TV. Discipline is what makes you practice your craft when you don't feel like it. Some people look at successful individuals and think they're just talented. But talent alone will never be enough. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. There are plenty of talented people who never reach their potential because they weren't willing to put in the effort. And there are plenty of people who weren't the most talented but outworked everyone around them and reached the highest levels of success. The difference is discipline. The difference is work ethic. The difference is the willingness to do what others won't. When you look at the greats, whether it's athletes, actors, musicians, entrepreneurs, what do they all have in common? It's not just talent. It's not just opportunity. It's work. It's discipline. It's a relentless commitment to being better every single day. Kobe Bryant didn't become one of the greatest basketball players of all time just because he was gifted. He was the first one in the gym, the last one to leave. He practiced more, trained harder, and sacrificed more than his competition. Will Smith didn't become one of the biggest movie stars by accident. He said himself, "I will not be outworked." He knew that success wasn't about luck, it was about effort. There is no easy way to greatness. There is no shortcut. The only path is through discipline and hard work. You have to be willing to do what others aren't. You have to be willing to push yourself beyond what you think is possible. You have to be willing to show up every day, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you feel like quitting. Because at the end of the day, the work you put in will speak for itself. The sacrifices you make will pay off. The discipline you build will separate you from the rest. There are going to be moments when you want to quit. There are going to be moments when you don't see the results. There are going to be moments when you question whether it's all worth it. But in those moments, you have to remember why you started. You have to remind yourself that discipline is about commitment, not convenience. You have to understand that hard work is the price you pay for success, and the only way to fail is to stop trying. People will doubt you. People will tell you that you're wasting your time. People will try to bring you down. But none of that matters. What matters is that you stay focused. What matters is that you keep pushing forward. What matters is that you refuse to settle for anything less than your best. There will always be an excuse to quit. There will always be a reason to take the easy way out. There will always be something trying to pull you away from your goals. But discipline is what keeps you on track. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when every part of you wants to stop. At the end of the day, success is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Do the work. Stay disciplined. Be consistent. Because when you look back on your life, you don't want to have regrets. You don't want to wonder what could have been if only you had given more effort. If only you had stayed disciplined. If only you had worked harder. You have a choice. You can be average, or you can be great. You can take the easy road, or you can take the hard one. You can let excuses define you, or you can let discipline drive you. The choice is yours. But remember this, hard work works. Discipline pays off. And if you want something bad enough, if you're willing to sacrifice for it, if you're willing to work for it, there is nothing that can stop you. So get up, get to work, stay disciplined, because success is waiting for those who are willing to earn it. Fail big, dream bigger, the Denzel Washington mindset. Life is not a straight path, and it was never meant to be easy. It is full of twists, turns, setbacks, and failures. But if there's one thing I've learned, one thing I've seen, one thing I've lived, it's that failure is not the end. In fact, failure is necessary. You have to fail big. You have to take risks. You have to dream beyond what you think is possible. Because the reality is this, nothing worth having ever comes easy. I've had the privilege of standing in rooms filled with dreamers, young and old, watching their eyes light up with hope. But too often I've also seen that hope dimmed by fear, the fear of failing, the fear of falling, the fear of not being good enough. And I tell them every time, fail big. Don't play it safe. Don't tiptoe through life, hoping to make it without ever falling, because that's not how greatness is made. That's not how legends are born. You see, the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. If you live your life afraid of failing, you are already failing. Fear will make you hesitate. Fear will make you second guess. Fear will make you settle for something smaller than what you were meant to do. But I tell you this, don't be afraid to dream big, and more importantly, don't be afraid to fail big. Every great success story is built on failure. You think Michael Jordan became the greatest without failing? He was cut from his high school basketball team. Did that stop him? No. He used failure as fuel? You think Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential women in media, never faced rejection? She was told she wasn't fit for television. Did that stop her? No. She took that rejection, turned it into motivation, and became a powerhouse. You think Steve Jobs never failed? He was fired from his own company, but did that stop him? No. He came back stronger and changed the world. I know this because I've lived it. When I was young, I wasn't always sure where my life was headed. I wasn't always sure if I was good enough. I wasn't always sure if I would make it. I had dreams, but I had doubts too. I auditioned for roles and got rejected. I thought I had made it, and then I fell flat. But every time I failed, I learned something. Every time I fell, I got back up. And every time I got back up, I came back stronger. Because that's what failure does. It teaches, it molds, it shapes you into the person you are meant to be. Dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointment. So if you're going to dream big, you need to have goals. And those goals need to be backed by discipline and consistency. You don't just wish for something and expect it to come to you. You have to work for it. You have to sacrifice for it. You have to be willing to do what others won't so you can achieve what others can't. Hard work works. People talk about luck, but luck is nothing without preparation. You might get one lucky break, but if you're not prepared, you'll lose it just as fast as it came. That's why you have to keep grinding, even when no one is watching, even when no one believes in you, even when you don't see results. Because every step you take, every failure you face, every obstacle you overcome, it all adds up. It all builds you into the person you are meant to be. Too many people give up too soon. They hit a roadblock and think it's the end. They face rejection and think they're not good enough. They make one mistake and think it defines them. But failure doesn't define you. What defines you is how you respond to failure. What defines you is your ability to get back up, to keep moving, to keep believing even when everything seems impossible. The world is full of people who never reach their full potential because they let fear hold them back. They settle for less because it's safe. They lower their expectations because they're afraid of disappointment. But let me tell you something, safe is not your purpose. Playing small is not your destiny. You were made for more. You were made to dream bigger than you can imagine. When you fail, fail forward. Don't fall back. Don't retreat. Don't shrink yourself because of a setback. Use it. Learn from it. Grow from it. Because every great success story has failure written all over it. The only difference between those who make it and those who don't is the decision to keep going. Some of you have dreams, but you're sitting on them. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time, the perfect opportunity. But there is no perfect time. The time is now. You have to start where you are with what you have. You have to take the risk, make the move, step out on faith. Because if you don't, you will wake up one day and realize you wasted your potential. You will realize that fear kept you from becoming who you were meant to be. Don't let that be your story. Don't be the person who looks back with regret, wishing they had tried harder, wishing they had believed more, wishing they had taken the chance when they had it. Life is too short to live in fear. Life is too short to play it safe. If you want to leave a legacy, if you want to make an impact, if you want to live a life that matters, you have to be willing to fail big. Success is not about money. It's not about fame. It's not about recognition. Success is about impact. It's about touching lives. It's about using your gift to make the world a better place. And you can't do that if you're afraid to step into your greatness. You can't do that if you let fear hold you back. I tell you this, dream big, fail big, get up every time you fall. Keep pushing, keep fighting, keep believing. Because the only way to truly fail is to never try at all. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when your time comes, you don't want to leave this world with unfinished dreams. You don't want to leave this world with regrets. You want to leave empty, knowing you gave it everything you had, knowing you took the risks, knowing you failed big, but you dreamed even bigger. Because that's what life is about. That's what greatness requires. That's how you change the world. So go ahead, fail big, dream bigger. Your future is waiting for you. Cat. Denzel Washington has always been vocal about his faith, often emphasizing the importance of putting God first in everything one does. Throughout his life and career, he has attributed his success, strength, and resilience to his deep belief in God. In many of his speeches and interviews, Washington has shared how his spiritual foundation has guided him through challenges, helped him stay humble, and given him a greater sense of purpose beyond fame and fortune. One of the key messages that Denzel Washington delivers is that faith should be the cornerstone of one's life. He strongly believes that putting God first is not just about prayer or attending religious services, but about aligning one's actions, decisions, and purpose with a higher calling. This philosophy is evident in his personal and professional life, where he has consistently sought to use his platform not just for personal gain, but to inspire and uplift others. He's often stated that no matter how much success one attains, it is meaningless if it is not rooted in faith and service to others. In his speeches, Washington urges people to recognize that their talents and opportunities are not entirely of their own doing. He reminds his audience that every blessing and every success is a result of God's grace. He recounts moments in his own journey where faith played a crucial role, such as when he was struggling early in his career, and how he relied on prayer and divine guidance to find direction. He shares how his mother played a significant role in instilling faith in him, constantly reminding him that success without God's guidance is hollow. Denzel Washington often speaks about humility, which he sees as a direct result of putting God first. He acknowledges that despite his wealth, fame, and accolades, he is just a man who owes everything to God's mercy. In many interviews, he has mentioned how he starts and ends his day with prayer, ensuring that gratitude remains at the forefront of his life. By doing so, he keeps himself grounded and focused on what truly matters. Another crucial aspect of Washington's message is that putting God first requires action. It is not simply about believing or professing faith, but about living according to spiritual principles. He advises people to be kind, to serve others, and to use their success as a means to help those in need. For him, True faith is reflected in the way one treats others, the way one handles adversity, and the way one remains steadfast in integrity and righteousness. He emphasizes that faith should not be passive, but rather an active force that shapes character and decisions. Washington's commitment to putting God first is also reflected in the way he chooses his roles and conducts himself in the entertainment industry. Despite being in Hollywood, an industry often associated with materialism and excess, he has remained steadfast in his values. He has turned down roles that he felt did not align with his principles and has made it clear that his faith is more important than any paycheck or recognition. He encourages others to take a similar stand, urging them not to compromise their values for temporary gains. In many of his speeches, Denzel Washington shares a profound piece of advice. At the end of the day, it's not about what you have or what you've accomplished. It's about who you've lifted up, who you've made better. It's about what you've given back. This sentiment underscores his belief that putting God first means living a life of service. He often speaks about the importance of helping others, mentoring the younger generation, and using one's blessings to make a difference in the world. Another critical lesson he imparts is the importance of faith in overcoming obstacles. Washington has faced his fair share of struggles, rejections, and setbacks, but he credits his unwavering faith as the reason he never gave up. He believes that everyone will encounter challenges, but those who put God first will have the strength to persevere. He shares personal stories of moments when he felt lost or uncertain, but found clarity and direction through prayer and trust in God's plan. Denzel Washington also stresses the power of gratitude. He encourages people to thank God not only for their successes, but also for their failures, as every experience is a lesson. He believes that maintaining a spirit of gratitude strengthens faith and helps people remain optimistic, even in difficult times. He has often shared how he reflects on his blessings daily and how this practice keeps him focused on what truly matters. One of the most compelling aspects of Washington's message is his insistence that faith is not just for difficult times, but should be a constant guiding force. Many people turn to God only when they are struggling, but Washington believes that faith should be present in all aspects of life during good times and bad. He emphasizes the need for consistency in prayer, faith, and service, arguing that true success is not measured by money or fame, but by a life lived in alignment with God's will. Washington's message resonates with many because it is not just theoretical, it is a reflection of how he has lived his life. He does not just talk about faith, he demonstrates it through his actions, his career choices, and the way he treats others. His authenticity makes his words powerful and inspiring, as people can see the tangible impact of putting God first in his life. Ultimately, Denzel Washington's philosophy of putting God first is about perspective. It is about recognizing that life is bigger than personal ambitions and that true fulfillment comes from faith, service, and integrity. He encourages people to seek God's guidance in every decision, to remain humble in success, and to use their blessings to uplift others. His message is one of hope, resilience, and purpose, reminding people that a life centered around faith is a life well lived.